Hello, boys and girls. I'm back here in Great-Great-Grandpa Harry's rocking chair, about to tell you another story. I'm going to read you a magical story about St. Patrick's Day. But before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about St. Patrick and why people have parties and big parades to celebrate his holiday. St. Patrick was a holy man who lived over 700 years ago and was especially loved by the people of a very beautiful country called Ireland. People wear green, like my shirt today, on St. Patrick's Day because the color green reminds them of the bright green grass and fields of Ireland. And they often decorate with pictures of shamrocks, a little green plant with 3 leaves that St. Patrick especially loved. But most fun of all, they tell stories about magical leprechauns, tiny little men who keep big pots of gold hidden away at the end of a rainbow. The leprechaun who lost his rainbow is the story I'm going to read you today, and it was written by Sean Callahan with pictures by Nancy Coate. Let me show you the cover. You see that? Okay. So, in the soft drizzle that was falling on St. Patrick's Day, Colleen wished her grandfather good luck. He gave her a piece of red licorice, her favorite candy, and then was off to the parade to play the bagpipes. Her grandfather had told Colleen that the notes he and his bandmates played were like colors on the air, colors only your ears could see. "Playing music is like building a rainbow," he said. "A little man I once knew taught me that." So let me show you the pictures. So, you see everybody getting ready for the parade? And here's Grandpa with his bagpipes. And here's Colleen. Right? Her mom and dad were going to watch the parade from the window. But Colleen sat on the porch, under her yellow umbrella. What if it rained so much that everyone went home and no one heard her grandfather's bagpipes? That would be a shame. His music was so beautiful and so sad. It made people smile and cry all at once. To pass the time, she played a little song on her green penny whistle, which had a tiny shamrock printed on it. Her grandfather had brought it all the way from Ireland. It was her favorite thing in all the world, and she never let anybody else touch it. So, can you see she's still on her umbrella, right? And Mom and Dad are looking through the window, and she's got her little penny whistle playing in her mouth. When she finished the tune, she took a bite of her licorice. Just then, a little man appeared on the top step. He was a leprechaun. "I like your penny whistle," the little man said. "You play very well." Can you see? He's up on the top step, and he is very little. Colleen started to say thank you when suddenly the leprechaun jumped in the air, took the licorice stick right out of her mouth. He dropped it in his hat. "Thank you," he said. "I'll be needing that, or my name's not Roy G. Biv. It's just the shade of red I'm looking for." So here's a picture of him dropping her licorice right into his hat. That's strange. Colleen was shocked. "What are you doing?" she shouted. "Give me my candy." The leprechaun frowned. "Your grandfather was much more helpful." "You know my grandfather?" Colleen asked. "Yes, we created a rainbow together back when he was a boy," Mr. Biv explained. Colleen was puzzled. Could this be the little man her grandfather talked about? Mr. Biv looked glum. "I've lost my rainbow again, and my gold is at the end of it. To be a leprechaun in good standing, I must have gold. So I need someone's help to build a rainbow." He paused. "And that someone is you." Colleen frowned. Leprechauns were tricky. Everyone knew that. Could Mr. Biv be telling the truth? "Let me show you something," the leprechaun said. "Spin around with the hat and watch what happens." So she twirled around, holding the hat, and suddenly a streak of bright red, just the color of her red licorice, sprang out of the hat and hung in the air for a moment, and then it disappeared. Colleen was amazed. So, can you see the red springing out of the hat? Pretty cool, huh? "See," Mr. Biv said, "we're starting to make a rainbow. And if there's a rainbow, the sun will come out to shine on the parade." Colleen took a deep breath. "What do we do?" "For every color, I need something that belongs to you. Something red, something orange, something yellow, green, blue, indigo," which is a dark blue, "and violet." Colleen looked around. There was her new orange basketball. She hated to give it up, but she tossed it into Mr. Biv's hat, and immediately an orange streak shot up into the sky. Let me show you. Can you see the basketball in the hat and the orange streak floating up into the sky? Good. Then she gave him her yellow umbrella. Yellow curved under the orange. And when her blue hair ribbons went in, a beautiful blue appeared. So you can see her yellow umbrella and her blue hair ribbons, and see the colors? Pretty cool, huh? Next to go was her indigo headband and her favorite violet scarf. So you can see she's putting her headband in the hat and her scarf, right? And the colors are appearing. Now there was a rainbow of colors coming out of the hat. But something was wrong. Right between the yellow and the blue, there was an empty space. Colleen knew which color was missing. "Yes, we need green," Mr. Biv said, "and not just any green. It's a very hard color of green to find, which is why rainbows are so rare." It was raining harder, and the parade goers were starting to leave, and Colleen was nervous. What would the leprechaun want? "You're going to have to make one more sacrifice, lass," Mr. Biv said. I'm going to need your penny whistle with the shamrock on it. That green is the perfect last color I need for my rainbow." Colleen started to cry. "No," she said, clutching her precious penny whistle. "My grandfather gave it to me." "But Colleen, dear, if you give me the penny whistle, you and I can make the sun shine on this parade." "And on your grandfather," said Mr. Biv pleadingly. Colleen held the penny whistle to her lips, blew one last sad note, and she paused and then dropped the penny whistle into the leprechaun's hat. So let me show you. Here are the musicians, and it's raining. And here's Colleen with her penny whistle, and the leprechaun just waiting for her to drop it in his hat. But she didn't want to give it up, did she? She knew she had to. In a flash, the rain stopped. The sun burst through the clouds, and a rainbow, a beautiful rainbow, complete with the most beautiful shade of green ever, spread across the whole sky. Can you see the rainbow and all the colors? The red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, the indigo, and violet. Here are the musicians with Grandpa with his bagpipes. And here's Colleen, and everybody looks so happy. Oh, and here's a shamrock, right? A picture of a shamrock. The parade goers gazed up in wonder, and Colleen's grandfather began to play the bagpipes. The music was so beautiful and so sad that people smiled and cried at the same time. See Colleen's grandfather playing the bagpipes and everybody loving the music. Nobody noticed that a pot of gold appeared at the end of the rainbow right on Colleen's front lawn. Roy G. Biv dug his hand into the pot of gold and pulled out a flute that looked kind of like Colleen's penny whistle. But this was not a toy flute. It was a real one made of silver. And there was a shamrock on it that looked like Colleen's, only this one was made of green emeralds. So can you see the beautiful rainbow, the pot of gold right there? And Colleen's holding her beautiful silver flute. "Thanks for sharing with me," Mr. Biv said, as he handed Colleen the flute. And with that, poof, he and his pot of gold were gone. Colleen's grandfather came and stood in front of her. "Who was that you were talking with?" he asked. "Roy G. Biv," she said. "He's a leprechaun." "I thought I recognized him," her grandfather said. "He gave me this flute, Grandpa." "Ah, 'tis a nice one. Silver, just like my bagpipes." "What do you say we play a tune?" So they played "When Irish Eyes Are Smiling," and the colors danced on the air. See the beautiful colors dancing in the air and Grandpa playing his bagpipes? Really pretty, right? And that's the end. I did want to show you one more picture. Here's a picture of Roy G. Biv with his pot of gold. So, do you believe in leprechauns? Little tiny men who have lots of magic and have a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Well, most people who are Irish believe that's to be true. I kind of hope it is. It's a great story, isn't it? I hope everybody has a great St. Patrick's Day. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.